Hello, everyone, and welcome to session with Onfido. Topic today, how can identity transform the buying experience? So I'm quite sure something we all see and will see this year and the coming years will change quite rapidly. So my name, Olli Krebs, I'm the General Manager, Central MEA here at Onfido, based out of the lovely city of Hamburg. And really looking forward to have an interesting event with you guys together here today. And please stay with me for a while so I can introduce to you Onfido and a few things we think could matter or will matter in the mobility branch. So what we see is that expectations of buying experience are changing, and they are changing rapidly. COVID-19 definitely pushed us 5 years ahead of the whole digital journey because we had to. That also means people are wanting to buy differently, more digital, faster, and reliable. So what does that mean? What forces are we seeing in the market today? So people are discovering they can do more digitally and the experience is better for it. So that means everything today gets faster, easier, and much flawless than what we discovered before. As a result, they're applying the expectations they hold of other highly digest sectors elsewhere. Just a few examples with DoorDash, Amazon, you name it. There are already a few veterans out there who exactly know how the digital journey should look like, and they're doing it quite well. So now the expectation is from the consumers that everything else should be the same way. That's on the consumer side. Then on the vendor side, when it comes to mobility and the mobile industry, you have the classical disruptors. And I have to say classical already, if you see Uber and Tesla, who were some pioneers when it comes to a different experience, how automotive and the journey with an automotive vendor or the journey in itself should look like and could be in a different way. And I'm quite sure they are already showing us where the journey could go. So what does that mean in summary? We want everything faster. We want everything with much less effort, and it should be easily accessible later. So we don't want to do for the same things we are doing repetitive. We don't want to do things again and again. We just want to click or push or whatever to make things happen in our daily life. So let's see how this does look like today when you buy a car, when you buy a vehicle, right? A lot of different processes and checks are in place in different places and in different systems. So think about it's already starting with picking a model, right? So if I, for myself, would pick a model, it's completely different than if I pick that together with my wife. By the way, this will be something which stays with us forever. That is nothing the digital world can solve. So it starts with picking the model. Then, of course, you want to do a test drive because you want to test everything and see how it feels, all this kind of stuff. And then you sit down together with your dealer to build the specs and hopefully come to an agreement to also work on an order together. And then later, after a few days or weeks or however this is set up, you will pick up your vehicle. So what is underneath it? What has to happen in the process that things like this happen today? That means you know which model you want. There's a pre-check needed to make sure you are allowed to do the test drive. Means do you have a valid driving license, which is very important here in Germany, of course, to have. And also some other stuff need to be checked. You have granted some insurance because if you crash the car, then of course someone has to pay for it. Then again, after that one, and you're talking about ordering something, leasing something, financing something, there's a credit check, there's a know your customer check where the financial institute needs to make sure knowing everything around you. And then of course the identity verification has to take place as well to make sure you are the one who can make this order and place the order and also get the car later on. Then again, when you go back to the pickup, it has to be checked. An ID check has to take place that you are the one you say you are. And then last but not least, there will be an account nowadays. Also nowadays, you have already accounts where you have some digital journeys going on, a few other things going on. And of course, you need access to that. Again, a different process in place. So the buyer needs to make multiple trips, complete duplicate paperwork, and doesn't have full sight of the process. That's how it looks like today. Sometimes a bit better, sometimes a bit different, but that's in general how it looks like today. What could the process be? So that's, in our view, something we think this is where the whole journey will go. And I'm not, as you can hear me saying, I'm not talking about car buying or something. I'm talking about journey. I'm talking about journey experience. So there will be a system built around the buyer, because the buyer gets into the center of everything when it comes to sell something, because the world is changing and going away from selling cars or vehicles to persons, which normally was touching a person 3 to 4 times in their life, in average. There are others, of course, buying more cars, of course, but in average, it's 3 to 4 cars in a lifetime for people which they buy, lease, or finance. So this would change around due to the fact now the person gets into the middle of everything. So we need centralized paperwork. We want to review process and progress, and also access finance post-sales this way. What does that mean? It means the person gets verified once, and then everything else will be tied towards the person. So that is a process which makes things much easier, much flawless, and also speeds up the time from pick a model to pick up the vehicle, right? So this would be the process today. Having said that, the next step will be, as I said already, it is not the vehicle anymore which is in the center of the interest. It is many, many services from different vendors will touch the individual many, many times a week, a month, maybe daily, when it comes to journeys, when it comes to journey experience, when it comes to what else is around that, the whole offering we can have, starting with, yes, you still have a vehicle, but you can book seat heating when you need it and pay for when you need it and not when you have it in summer. Vice versa, a few other things where you need maybe extra climate and something like this. This is something, a great model Tesla is already using today, where you can switch on and off services when you need them, which means that also means there's a chance to sell something which someone else didn't think it before, right? It's around when it comes to maintenance, when it comes to other journeys. People will start, and hopefully we can do that soon, that we can decide when to go where without thinking of COVID-19 and everything else. Is maybe I want to get picked up here at my home address to go to the airport by an Uber. And from there, I'm flying to wherever I want to go. And when I touch down at the airport, I would love to have a car waiting for me. I can rent for 2 weeks, give it back, fly home and get a lift home. Again, so this journey will be something which will be an overall inclusive offering. This is the point. Insurances can be different, right? It can be that insurance need to be paid by how my driving is, all this kind of stuff. So many, many things will touch the customer. And therefore we need to make sure that the interaction is as easy as possible and as secure as possible for both sides. So the trust is not just within the customer, it's also from the customer to the vendor to make sure if I order something that easy, it is still secure and I am protected for any fraud or whatever is out there. So how do we do this? How can we make sure as Onfido, which is our core message and business, is to make sure to secure the identity of a human being? So at Onfido, we anchor accounts into real identity. How do we do this? We take the government ID, and there are many out there, which proves on a document that you are the person you say you are. And then of course your face is proving this. Sometimes with a smile, sometimes not, but nevertheless, both together will make sure we can make sure you are the one who you say you are. We make digital identity a real identity, proved and verified every time again in a very easy way. So how do we do this? One is of course a document verification. We just said taking your ID or a few others. I will talk about that in a second. This will confirm that the ID is legitimate, which means we check on many things, if it is correct, if it is also still valid, all this kind of stuff. Again, we can talk about this one offline as well. That would take too long. On the other hand, it's biometric verification. Selfie or video confirms ID ownership and liveness. So we are taking a video of your face or a selfie and making sure via biometric scans and IR in the background that this face is real and the face is also connected to the ID we're having on the other side. So here's now something for you, because I don't want to talk the whole time. Do me a favor, check this 6 driving licenses and try to find out if they are different, and if they are different, how. And I will give you some time to check it. And then we hopefully will get you in the right direction here. Good. Did you find something? I'm quite sure at least one is quite obvious, but a few others I found myself. Here we go. These are the differences. So as you can see, the upper left one is the original. When we go to the right, there's an invalid ID number. Normally quite easy to spot. If you have to do this the whole day, it might become quite interesting seeing many, many numbers over the day. Then something which is already something where a security feature is missing, right? If you see this over there, that's already something which gets quite hard to get out. The next one is, of course, this gentleman doesn't look like the original, right? Again, need to find out there someone worked on the image one way or the other. There are many ways how to do this. As we all know, crime and war are the biggest innovation drivers worldwide, sadly said so. And this is always an uphill battle. And together with our customers, we will make sure we keep fighting to make sure this becomes a more secure place. So, and then the next one, font verification. Again, it's not just that the number is different, it's also that someone start playing around with the font itself. And then last but not least, as you can see, this pixel tempering is something I wouldn't have seen. So there's a few things, and I can tell you this document stuff fraud gets better and better. So we need more and more artificial intelligence and machine learning to make sure we learn what good looks like, and everything else shouldn't be going through. So the next thing is that was the document checking. Here's now the video or the biometrics checking. On the upper line, you can see where we have a genuine video of a person speaking. What we do in the next step is we do a face detection. So we zoom a little bit in, see the face, and from there we build a spoof heat map. What does that mean? We go into the pixels and see, okay, what is, and with a lot of, let's say, magic behind it, someone else will call it AI, is we are checking if this is real or not. The opposite example here, of course, is video on screen. So someone is using a phone screen to try to show a video into a camera. We do the face detection again. You see already a little bit of a difference. That's number one. It's definitely different. And then the spoof heat map, as you can imagine, red is not good. Immediately alarms and say this is definitely not original and this is definitely not a live speaking person. So that's in the end of the day is there's two things in a very high level how we do this. stuff. Again, if you want to learn more than happy to talk to you later or offline. What does this new process mean nowadays? So we will improve the experience. Simple digital first process to verify a buyer's identity. So that's the idea. Make it flawless, make it automatic, make it a easy to do task for the end user, to make it a user experience which is not an issue. Also help to re-authenticate later when needed to access account or refinance. So make sure that the customer, when he or she comes back, will have access to the stuff without starting the whole process again. That's the idea behind it. Also improved efficiency, much fewer manual processes needed. Up to a full automation, which is always an interesting thing to discuss. However, this will speed up things and efficiency big time and also raise the quality immense. And then last but not least, scalability. Think about many things where you do this today manually or half automatic or however, whatever that is. So in the end of the day, process over 4,600 document types and have an answer back in seconds. That's what we talk about. This is where, especially in the days to come, where these checks are needed much often, you need to find a way to automate it. You need to find a way to make this secure and safe and take the human factor out of tests like this. Also to make sure to get the vulnerabilities out of the process. And this is us. This is Onfido. We are nearly 400 colleagues worldwide nowadays. We have checks available in 195 countries around the globe, 1,500 plus customers worldwide who are trusting in us, relying on our services and products to make sure the first line of defense is secure and safe for the companies, but also for the end users to build trust and so on. We are seen by big investors as a company which is worth not just to invest in, but also to make sure to bring us forward and to make sure we get the services and products out there faster and better for our customers and for our customers to become. Investors like TPG, Microsoft, Salesforce, just to name a few, are trusting in us and our products and services. And as you can see, just a few awards we have. So it looks like we make a few things right. With that, I hope this session was somehow useful for you. Also hope that you will have a great day here at the event. Also more than happy to speak to you offline after the event, the days to come. And thanks for your attention and wish you a great day.